The most common faults on a laptop motherboard. I'm going to teach you exactly 11 faults. If you master it and if you understand it, I'm sure you will understand more than 90% failed motherboard you get. The first fault is the adapter. Please never ignore the adapter. So you have first to check the power jack or the flexible cable if the VN is present or not. This is the first step, because some technicians get dead motherboards and the problem is just due to the adapter. That's why you have to check first the adapter. Let's check it out. This is the first step. So let's select the DC volt in the multimeter. Okay, the DC volt, depending on the type of the multimeter. I go always step by step because I know that beginners, a lot of beginners in this channel follow me. More than 50% are beginners. That's why I go step by step. So we have to check first the input voltage. Is it good or not? After that, analyzing the motherboard. Okay, so we have here basically the black probe and the red probe. Very easy. So the black probe here and the red probe here on the red cable. As you can see, we have to get the voltage. Do you see? We get 19 volts. Okay, we get 19 volts. Means the adapter is good. This is the first step. Let's move on to the second step, the power jack. After checking the adapter, now the second step is this one. We have basically the adapter and we have the power jack over here. This power jack could be desoldered. If there is any dry over here, this one could make a dead board. So we have to check it. But without wasting time checking this connector, easy, I can just plug, okay, this flexible cable here. Okay, let's plug it over here and make like this. Very easy. As I told you, guys, we have beginner that follows me. That's why we have to go step by step. Okay, I will check just these terminals for this connector. So of course, the black probe always here in the side, and the red probe in the side. I have to get 19 volts, as you can see in the multimeter. Input connector is good. What about the third step? The third step before checking this MOSFETs and the protection component is the visual inspection. Please do not neglect the visual inspection. Always we have to begin from the input voltage and going like this. Okay, let's check. Here we have IC, MOSFET, of ceramic capacitors. Everything here seems to be good. Always begin with the visual inspection and check all components. Okay, here seems to be good, like this. Okay, and then go to the other side and check also the other sides. Like this, we have the super I/O. This is 3 volt, 5 volt circuit. Okay, this is for CPU. We have the BIOS. Okay, let's go here also. Okay, all is good. Now we have to move on to protection components. In many motherboards, protection components become shorted, including diodes, fuses, etc. Okay, that's why the protection component should be tested. Okay, we have this board here. Do you see? This is basically a protection component diode. This diode is connected to the ground. Do you see? Here we have the anode, here we have the cathode. The cathode connected to the power rail, to the B plus power rail, okay, or VN power rail, the main voltage, and the anode connected to the ground. Means this diode should be checked using the multimeter. If this diode is shorted, the board will be dead board. Now let's move on to next step or the next fault, basically the input switches or MOSFETs. Now we have to check the input switches or MOSFETs. Okay, how to locate these two switches? Easy. As you can see here, we have the flexible cable, we have basically the connector, and we have two switches here. So the black probe on the ground like this, and let's check. Here we have 19 volts, as you can see in the multimeter. Okay, depending on the type of the motherboard, you can get 19 volt, 18 volt, in some motherboard 5 volt, 15 volt, etc. No matter. So we have 19 volt here. This is good. In this side also, as you can see, we have 19 volt. Why? Because the MOSFET gets what? Gets here into gate the control signal. You see about 8 volts. Okay, that's why we have here 19 volt. Also 19 volt, we will find it here. Here also. Let's check. Okay, no. We will not find 19 volt here because the switch is for the battery. Okay, it's for the battery. We have just 19 volt in this side. This is a blocking switch. It blocks 19 volt to not pass to the battery. Okay, so the switch is good. We have 19 volt in this side and also in this side. This is good. This is basically the charge IC, one of the most common faults on motherboards. But this one is good. The proof, because we have here the control signal 8 volt, means this one is good, because this one is what deliver or what generate this 8 volt. And of course, if we check the ceramic capacitors around it, we're gonna find the voltages are good. Okay, let's check this one here. We have 5 volts, good. We have 19 volt in this capacitor, as you can see. Okay, means this IC is fed correctly. Good. Now let's move on to the 3 volt 5 volt circuit. Okay, let me remove this one. The 3 volt 5 volt circuit. Basically, we locate the 3 volt and 5 volt circuit by locating 2 coils next to each other. We have these 2 coils with the capacitor next to it. This one with the capacitor next to it means this is 3 volt 5 volt circuit. This circuit basically is one of the most important circuits in every motherboard, because without 3 volt and 5 volt circuit, nothing will work, nothing will be generated on the motherboards. Okay, and remember, as I told you, always we spot it or we identify 3 volt 5 volt circuit by locating 2 inductors next to each other, 5 volt 3.3 volt. So always you have to check the presence of 5 volt and 3.3 volt. The next step is by checking the BIOS, the basic input output system. This one here, for this board we have the BIOS here. For this one we have the BIOS here. So always this is the pin number 1 for the BIOS, 2, 3, 4. The pin number 8 we have to find 3.3 volt in the pin number 8. If 3.3 volt is missing, you have to diagnose or to go to 3 volt 5 volt circuit and check if it's okay or not. Or sometimes you have to flash or reprogram the BIOS. So the next fault or next step is the power switch. Very important. The power switch, basically many technicians ignore this switch. This switch, my friends, the power switch, without it the board will not power on. Okay, without the power switch, okay, let me adjust. Okay, without the power switch, okay, the board will be dead board, of course. That's why you have to check 3.3 volt here in 2 pairs of power switch. I made a lot of videos, many videos about checking the power switch, the BIOS, etc. Okay, you have to check the presence of 3 volt in both sides, and here of course we have the ground. The next failure is the RAM circuit. Okay, the RAM circuit is the next failure. We get that the RAM is not powered. For this RAM we have DDR3, means we have to find a voltage in the inductor near the nearest inductor to the RAM. You have to find the VDD or 1.5 volt for this kind of RAM DDR3. And of course, in this resistor network, you have to find the VDD, the half of the VDD. So for DDR3, we will find here 0.75 volts. So the next basically fault is, and the most important fault is the CPU circuit. Of course, for this last fault, we get these voltages after pressing the power button. For the CPU, the nearest coil to the CPU, because the CPU has more than one channel, you have to find the VCC coil always between 0.7 volt to 1.2 volts, depending on the type of the CPU. If the CPU is not powered, the motherboard will be failed. After that, one of the most important failure that many technicians ignore is the connectors. Okay, please always pay attention to the connector pins like those. If there is any bended pin, okay, any bended pin or broken pin, the board will be dead, because the bended pin could be the ground and touch the VCC, means you have shorts in the board. The laptop motherboard common faults or common faulted parts. We have seen the first fault is the adapter good, is delivered the VIN, is it good or not. The second step basically is the power jack, or sometimes the flexible cable. The power jack, is it soldered correctly to the board or not? Okay, so the third step is one of the most important steps that everyone neglects, is the visual inspection. Please confirm that the visual inspection, you check everything, because remember, more than 50% of failed motherboards are due to what? To burned component or missing components. Okay, that's why never neglect the visual inspection. 4. The protection component. Okay, the protection components could be what? Could be diodes. So it could be diodes, fuses. Okay, sometimes you find inductors. Remember that the diode is always, okay, the anode of the diode always connected to the ground, and this side is always connected to the power rail. Means if the diode is shorted, we will have a dead board. 5th, the input MOSFETs or switches. Always after basically the power jack, we find it could be one MOSFET, or sometimes it could be two MOSFETs. Those MOSFETs should be checked. If anyone here is failed, the VIN will not pass to the side, means we will not get B+. 6. So the 3 volts always basically, and 5 volts always. If these 2 voltages are missing in the motherboard, so nothing will work, because based on these voltages, other secondary voltages will be generated. 7. The BIOS. Always when you get a stubborn or difficult board to repair, go and flash or reprogram the BIOS. The BIOS could be failed one, especially when you get a black screen or no power laptop. Reprogram the BIOS. BIOS basically is 8-pin chip, is the BIOS. Reprogram it, and of course, always we check the pin number 8. You have to find 3.3 volt to know if the BIOS is fed correctly or not. 8 basically is the power switch or the on-off button, okay, or on-off button. The button basically on-off button, okay, like this. Let's assume that this is the button. One terminal or side connected to the ground, and another one, let's see here, another one here is connected to 3.3 volts. The laptop basically, when you press the button, you connect 3.3 volt with the ground, and then the laptop comes on and power on. If the switch is not good, is not serviceable, you will not switch on the laptop, and you will thought that the laptop is failed, but you have just the power switch. 9, the RAM circuit, of course, those circuit here, and 10 for CPU circuit. Those circuits, after pressing the power button, you have to check the voltage for the RAM, is it good or not, and the voltage for the CPU, basically plus VCC core. Guys, I made a lot of videos about checking voltages. Just type in the search box voltage, motherboard voltages, and watch the detailed videos. Basically 11, the last and the important step or failure is connector. Many technicians and even professionals neglect connectors. Guys, in connectors we have many basically pins. Okay, if there is any pin that is bended, like this one for example is bended, and this one is connected to the ground, and this one is VCC, this one bended means the ground connect with the VCC, means you have a short, means what? Dead bars. That's why never neglect also connectors. I hope that you understand.